we have our stars like Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, and Amir Khan. If you were to be a stuntman to these heroes, you are not seen on the film. You are not seen on the celluloid. You are a person who is doing that act. You get paid and you leave. So the industry here, the stunt industry or the act, is basically for the children, which they get to see during a circus. We have a circus here. There's a circus here, or there is an activity which is done in some fair or something like this talent thing. I'm not trying to belittle your activity. I'm just trying to say what the industry is all about. Because this is something which India has not grown in the last 60 years when it comes to Bollywood.
Understood.
So I'm just trying to place him 5 years down the line if he is in the industry. Is he just going to fulfill his passion, or would he be seen as a stuntman where me or my child or my wife and everybody would say that yeah, he's a hero, he's a stuntman?
I think you.
I don't think anybody here could name 5 stuntmen in the Bollywood industry.
Correct. Your points are well taken.
Very good.
So we're going in uncharted territory, to be honest. And this has never existed anywhere in Hollywood or Bollywood, for that matter. And where the industry is going to be in 5 years is anybody's guess. We're seeing great things changing right now. And we believe we are playing right in the center of it by doing this as a global digital play. So you're correct that a stuntman in Hollywood or Bollywood would never have much fanfare, but a superhero would. So does Bello's character and personality grow beyond just the stunt itself and become a character that exists in content? We believe it does. And we also believe that we'll be able to see an American performer exist on the celluloid or the digital, in the storyline, in an organic way, of course. So that would be for producers and directors down the line in Bollywood or in Hollywood to say, well, how can I take the skills and the talent and the performance that Bello offers and incorporate it into the live action of the storytelling that I have? Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it probable? Absolutely. In Bollywood, it's a lot more complicated. For sure. I think we'll see an organic shift to Bello making television appearances in India, doing live events very specifically that will take place in India and then pushed out on a global scale, playing on the ultimate. There's no reason why people in North America and Europe and other parts of Asia or Australia can't say, this Saturday, I'm tuning in to see a live event from India. And as a result of this, people are going to learn the character that makes up Bello. I mean, his character as a human and his character as a character are the same. He's a great guy. He's been married to his high school sweetheart, his third grade sweetheart, since the third grade. I know India is a country that represents family, that really believes in good family values. Bello is the best family man I've ever met in my life. 4 kids, 1 adopted, no alcohol, no drugs, no tattoos. It's about family and bringing family entertainment to the world. That's what he's about. So how that translates into true content in Bollywood in a year or 5 years, I think we're going to see over time. I think initially it will be live action of the character of Bello, but as we all learn about his true interpersonal characters, we will say, all right, well maybe there's a cartoon. Cartoons play perfectly in India. Again, not traditional Bollywood big musicals, but there's entertainment that can grow here and organically be devised here with Bello as a featured character right on the front page of it all in your various languages. I think that what he's about will translate not only to the Indian culture, but culture globally. Bello, what do you think?
Thank you very much. It's hard to top someone like him talking so nice about me, but I think when you talk about you've seen stuff at a circus, I can answer that. You've seen stuff on TV shows, and I can answer that. You've seen live events, and I can answer that. If you knew my history and where I come from, 7 generations of my family have been entertainers. My father's family, Circus Nock, is the oldest circus that's still owned by the same family. 7 generations back, it dates to 1772. Now, there are older circuses, but not people that have owned their own circus for that long. So I've done circus. I've headlined some of the biggest circuses around the world. I've won the highest honor in circus. But there's something that happens in circus, and that is You have to sell a ticket, and people have to come inside, and it's in a closed environment. And with that closed environment, you can only fit so many people. So then people say, well, let's move to TV. Well, TV, if you do something in America on NBC or on the Discovery Channel, you only have access to so many people, because people in Russia, India, Mexico may not have that channel, and it may be at a different time of the year or a different time of the day, so they may not be able to see it. So then you look for the next larger audience. And what would that be? The internet. It's the way to be able to reach everyone. So maybe over time, I don't want to talk too much, but I want to tell you, 7 generations of my family have been entertainers. I started performing professionally. My first job, I was 6, 7, and 8 years old. I was on Broadway. In Peter Pan, I was Little Michael Darling for 6 months on Broadway, and then I toured the world. When I was 7 years old, I had been 3 times around the world. At 9 years old, I started walking wires, and at 14 years old, I started doing stunts. So there's a deep history in me. I've done stunt doubles for many people, for Batman movies and live shows. I've done the Power Rangers, where I've stunt doubled and made other people look good. And I'm happy doing that. But now it got to a point where you go, this doesn't fit in a helmet. This doesn't fit looking like someone else. And I couldn't double someone else because there's no one else that can do what I do. If some of you, there are many, many wonderful elite daredevils out there. I'm either friends with them, have trained with them, or trained some of the other great stunt men out there. Not so much stuntmen, daredevils. The people that do some of the craziest things at Cirque du Soleil, I've trained the people that have trained them. The man who walked over the Grand Canyon, he worked for me and trained under me for 3.5 years. So there's a deep history behind me. And my whole thing is not about doing something that's attention grabbing just to say, look at me. It's about trying to find ways to have people around the world to see what it's like to be up there with me. And we proved that when I walked 882 feet long, and I was able to take pictures, tweet, and text, and do interviews from that high wire, and sort of give everyone my point of view. That's what it's all about for me.
You connect to the internet? See if you can get on the internet. You can access the site, and you can show some of the stuff from New York Times Square. Next question, please.
So as of now, what's the present status as far as this part of the industry is concerned? Has he signed up with some animation companies? Has he signed up with some film producers? Will he be visible on the screen? When is that expected?
We're having explorations right now with meetings. We're talking to people right now. So we're not ready to announce any specific Bollywood connections just yet. There are some talks. There are some relationships that are looking to grow. Our current sort of announcement for India would be our intention to walk the Sea Lake Bridge.
So, Bello, who are the actors and actresses in Bollywood you would like to work with?
You know what? At this point, I don't want to name any names yet because we're having conversations. We actually are having genuine conversations, and you know how it goes. Loose lips sink ships. So, sir, you got a question?
Yeah. To Bello? Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Your art, as we call it, requires extreme concentration. I mean, you must be the world number one person to have that kind of concentration, which nobody else has. We always get distracted. If I were or
Eric,
a normal person
make sure they get
try
high
to
speed.
do a type stroke, you would look
High
down,
speed
you
internet.
get scared. So what is the secret
High
of
speed.
success? Are you doing some kind of exercises, mental exercises, yoga or meditation? So what is the secret of your success in keeping your concentration so well focused?
Thank you. It's a great question because I believe for each one of us in our different experiences and our different trainings, we all can adapt ourselves or familiarize ourselves or see things with a different set of eyes. Some people would look at someone else doing something and saying, wow, that's dangerous. I might look at it and say, oh, okay, we could have done this better, or wow, that's great. So because I've learned my craft and the art at such a young age, I learned the discipline. I'm going to share something with you. I have ADD. I have I can get distracted very easily unless I'm doing something that tremendously matters to me, and in many points, my life is on the line. But even when I'm practicing, so there's a hyper focus that happens with me also, and that's something that is learned at a very young age. So it's not a meditation for me, although that may work for others. It's not one simple form. I just make sure that there's a good balance. And no one can explain that better than someone who uses extreme balance and physically walking high wires. You can be ADD and all over the place when it's just an enjoyable time, but when it comes time for what most people would consider work, there's a hyper focus. I'm not thinking about what's for dinner when I'm up on the high wire.
Look at the Times Square, Bello. Look at the Times Square stuff.
Yeah.
Scroll
Particularly
down.
something from your very young age, where anything
Dennis
that
Miller.
Yeah. A lot of people ask
Dennis
me
Miller.
about accidents,
Dennis Miller.
and that's a very good question, because obviously, if you do something over and over, you're bound to have either a mistake or you're bound to have. And there are people that go out and try things, not knowing the outcome. There are people that do things for the wrong reason. They might be in the pursuit of fame and fortune, and we all know that if that is your focus, you might get there, but it won't last long. I'm very proud to say I've been performing for over 30 years in over 30 countries. I've done many, many death-defying stunts, not a single broken bone in my body. There are 3 books that came out in the past 5 to 8 years that described my father as one of the most respected men in the circus or entertainment business. He also died of natural causes, laying in bed, not a single broken bone in his body. There are other family members in circus. There are other family members in daredevilry, the Wallendas, the Knievels, that are much more famous than my last name, Nock, but I would consider for the wrong reason. They're all friends of ours. But when you can have a safety record, I would say that's something you would be more proud of than any physical achievement.
do you have any safety